Thank you. So it's been a long program already. If you feel like you need a stretch, it's okay. I also needed a little bit of a stretch. Good to stand up a little bit. I certainly want to keep my remarks brief today because I think so much has been said already about Women's Federation and the incredible foundation that has been laid. I have had the pleasure of actually secretly meeting and discussing with Angelica for over 2 months before this appointment was made official. We were meeting once or twice a week together to talk about Women's Federation. I could have so much time to prepare, inherit, learn about what was already happening. So when the news finally came and was officially announced, I was no longer shocked anymore, fortunately. So, when I walked in today, so many, especially these local women who for me, many of you were like aunties for me growing up, who were pioneers for Women's Federation, I just feel so much love and support. So many of you have personally come to me and said, I'm here for you, whatever you need. And I just want to really applaud the beautiful women who have laid that foundation. So let's give them all a beautiful hand of applause. So before I get into any of just the few points I wanted to talk about today, I have a short story to tell. And it's of my middle daughter, who's 6 years old. And, oftentimes as a mother, when you put your children to sleep, you sing them a lullaby. And one of the lullabies I was singing to her, wasn't thinking about it, but it had the word mankind in that song. And you don't think about that, that's quite normal, right? But my very inquisitive 6-year-old middle child asked me, Mommy, why does it say mankind? Because, she's thinking about herself, and she doesn't feel like that represents her. And I said, wow, that's a good question, Ayla. And I thought about that, and I explained, many, many years ago, women were not seen as equal. And there was a time where it was very difficult for women, and their role was very limited. But I mentioned, that's why I really appreciate what Mother Moon is doing. And that's why Mommy works so hard with the work that she's doing. And then, wait, the applause is worth it in a minute. I know, see, some of you are going, but then she's thought about it, and she said, okay, Mommy, I want to be like you and Mother Moon when I grow up one day. So that's a beautiful representation of why we're here and what this organization really represents. And Katerina, I really want to applaud Katerina. You've been doing such a great job with this beautiful program. Earlier this week, she was so stressed out, but she's so calm and collected on the stage. I'm very impressed. Never would have thought a few years ago you didn't like public speaking. You're awesome at it. So when I think about this organization, Katerina has been talking about, I'm going to share my vision of the future of Women's Federation, but what I really feel is it's not my vision. I really feel it comes from Father and Mother Moon. It also comes from all of the women who have worked for many decades to get us to this point. I, of course, have had many months talking with Angelica. I had a really wonderful conversation with the prior president, Alexa Ward, this week. And I tried to reach Aunt Nora on the phone, but I got to talk to her husband instead for a while. So, Aunt Nora, your call is coming later next week, okay? But I can see the history that has been laid. I also remember as a young girl that, when I was like 8 or 10 years old, my own mother, who was a Women's Federation leader, I remember coming to all the programs and folding the programs and handing them out and helping get things set up on the table. So you could say I've been raised in Women's Federation from a young age. And I recently found out that my father-in-law was the 2nd or 3rd official member of Women's Federation USA. So it definitely runs in my blood and is a part of my lineage, whether I realize it or not until this moment. And so I really recognize the foundation that I'm standing on today, and I'm so grateful. In my time here, my greatest hope is to, I think there's a concern when there's change happening, especially when Angelica has been here for 13 years. There's a concern that Some important gems are going to be lost, but please hear my words when I say, don't worry, nothing is going away. And instead, my hope is only to lift those gems even brighter, to higher and brighter. Together with the next generation of women, we hope to just make this reach further, repackage, and allow this to touch all the women who are longing for this kind of embrace. There's a particular quote from Mother Moon that kind of sums up when I decided to say yes to this appointment. It's not an easy appointment. It's huge shoes to fill. I mean, did you see we had the whole hour-and-a-half program with, that's what I'm walking into. It's a lot to walk into. But there's a quote from Mother Moon in the beginning of her memoir that I want to share with you. This is her prayer to God. She says, "Before them and their peoples, I talk about you, our Heavenly Parent. I talk about Heavenly Mother, hidden behind Heavenly Father. With my whole heart, I embrace even those among your children who, unaware of the truth, have misunderstood and even persecuted me. As I do, you heal the wounds that they inflict." And there's a particular concept here that Mother Moon has really been bringing forward in the last decade. It's always been there, but she's been pushing forward the concept of a heavenly parent. And whatever religion you may come from, whatever spiritual practice you may have, however you may call our divine creator, I really resonate with the idea of a heavenly parent. My whole life, I grew up with the concept of a heavenly father, and I could pray to my heavenly father. But until this concept of the heavenly parent came, I didn't realize there was something missing in my own heart and my own spiritual walk. Because what I began to realize by calling God my heavenly parent is that God is both a mother and a father. And that as a mother, as a wife, as a daughter, I am a unique representation of that feminine nature of God. And now is the time for that to really be manifested in all of the women around the world. And that is what led me to say yes to inheriting this incredible appointment and mission. And so in the program, you see my title of this talk is Calling on All True Daughters, because to me, this is the great equalizer for all of the women, no matter what age you are, what life phase you're in, what your relationships look like. No matter that, we are all daughters of God. And if we know that deep inside ourselves, we can accomplish anything. So I thank you, everybody, for the incredible warm welcome. The Home Office team has been incredibly welcoming. All the wonderful Women's Fed chairwomen have been so welcoming. I really also want to thank Dr. Kim, Dr. Young, Dr. Jenkins. Now, Kimi, you got to become a doctor to fit in this table, I think. But all these men have played important roles in my own life as well. And so I'm so grateful all of you came today to celebrate today. So thank you so much. I'm going to need everybody's help. So like Reverend Juanita, your song, I am going to be calling on you because I'm going to be needing everyone's help. But I look forward to a bright future together. Thank you, everybody.